The Trump administration is reportedly giving immigrations and customs enforcement officials authority to quickly deport migrants who were allowed into the U.S. temporarily under Biden-era programs. According to a memo obtained by the New York Times, this move could impact more than 1 million people who fled from Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti, and potentially impact immigrants from Afghanistan and Ukraine. Meantime, as we mentioned earlier, a federal judge temporarily blocked Trump's executive order attempting to end birthright citizenship in the U.S. The judge put in place a 14-day restraining order. The Justice Department also responded, saying in part, quote, "It will vigorously defend President Trump's EO, which correctly interprets the 14th Amendment of the Constitution." That's a direct quote there. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez joins us now with more on this. Camilo, this is significant. What might the next steps be in this case? We're wondering if it will get to the Supreme Court.
Good morning, Errol. The federal judge in Seattle who denounced this bid by President Trump to upend the longstanding interpretation of the Constitution by trying to deny birthright citizenship to certain children who are born here really delivered an early setback for the Trump administration's immigration agenda. But this will not be the final say in this legal battle under the Trump administration. We know that this ruling, as you underscored, is temporary in nature, and the judge in Seattle still has to adjudicate a request for a more permanent block on this bid by President Trump to upend birthright citizenship. So that case has still to be adjudicated. But if there's any indication that the judge will side with Democratic-led states, that is likely to be the outcome given his strong rhetoric against the order in that hearing yesterday rather. But it is really important to note that for now, the federal agencies that were instructed, Errol, to deny birthright citizenship to the children of parents who are in the country illegally, as well as those who are here on temporary visas, are now blocked from enforcing that guidance. So for now, that attempt to upend the longstanding interpretation of the Constitution has been halted.
Wow. So what then is the status of the mass deportations Trump has been promising? Where in the country might this be happening?
Well, of course, President Donald Trump made this promise of carrying out the largest deportation in American history, a central pillar to his campaign for president. And he is saying that that operation will indeed be carried out. We have seen an uptick, Errol, in ICE enforcement operations across the country, including in cities with so-called sanctuary policies that limit cooperation with federal deportation agents, but they appear to be, for the most part, routine operations, Errol, so far, that target migrants who are in the country illegally, but who also have criminal histories. The big change now here from a policy perspective, Errol, is that ICE agents during these operations can now arrest people who are non-criminals, who are not the targets of these operations, but who are otherwise in the country illegally. So these are known as collateral arrests. They can now happen during these operations. That is a major shift in policy because the Biden administration had generally limited immigration enforcement to serious criminals, national security threats, and people who recently were crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. And finally, ICE can also now go into schools and churches to arrest certain unauthorized immigrants because the Trump administration ended what the Biden administration called a prohibition on arrests in so-called sensitive locations, Errol.
All right, a comprehensive review of all that's happening on that front. Camilo Montoya Galvez, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And we have this detail for you. ICE confirms its agents conducted a, quote, targeted enforcement operation, end quote, at a worksite in Newark, New Jersey. Surveillance video shows what appears to be federal immigration agents taking a man into custody outside the Ocean Seafood Depot. The owner says agents arrived yesterday unannounced and asked to see documentation of his employees. He tells CBS News New York's Ali Bauman 3 people were taken into custody.
They didn't have a court order I didn't even ask. 26 years in business, I've never seen anything like this.
Newark's mayor says ICE's actions here were in violation of the 4th Amendment. He claims one of the detainees is a U.S. military veteran.